Hello and I welcome to this session on Python programming. In today's session, we'll be discussing about uh, how we can use binary files in Python. That means how we can use file handling concept to write and read from binary files. For this, there is a concept known as object serialization in Python. And for this purpose, there is a special module known as pickle module in Python. So you see, as a programmer and a data scientist, you'll always use sets of data in the form of dictionaries, data frames, or any other data type. And while working with these, you would like to save them in some file so that you can use them at a later stage, so you can send it to someone. And this is like what Python's pickle module does for us. It serializes objects so that they can be saved to a file and loaded in a program again later on. So in this video, we'll be covering the following topics about the pickle module. What is pickling? What can pickle be used for? When not to use pickle? What can be pickled? Pickle versus JSON, pickling files and unpickling files. So basically, we are going to deal with object serialization. That means we want to save our binary data in some file and we want to send that file to somebody where it can be used by that person. So let's first discuss what is pickling. Now, pickle is used for serializing and deserializing Python object structures, also called marshalling or flattening. And it refers to the process of converting an object in memory to a byte stream that can be stored on disk or sent over a network. Later on, this character stream can then be retrieved and deserialized back to Python object. So, and while sending now, it would be more secure also because it has been encrypted into some binary format, which is not readable just like a text file. And you must also see that pickling is not to be confused with compression. Okay, compression is something else, and pickle is the concept in which there is a conversion of an object from one representation to another, while in compression, the process of encoding data with fewer bits is there in order to save disk space. Now, what can you do with pickle? Now, pickling is useful for applications where you need some degree of persistency in your data. That means you want to store your data persistently on some storage device, and not that your data stays in RAM all the time. Now, your program state data can be saved to disk. You can continue working on it later on. And it can also be used to send data over a TCP or a socket connection or to store Python objects in a database. Now, pickle is a very useful for when you are working with machine learning algorithms where you want to save them to be able to make new predictions at a later time without having to rewrite everything or train the model all over again. And when not to use pickle, you see, if you are transmitting data across different programming languages, pickle is not recommended. It is recommended only when you strictly want to use Python as your tool. And thus, cross-language compatibility is not guaranteed. Uh, Now, unpickling a file that was pickled in a different version of Python may not always work. For example, you pickled a file in version 3 and you want to unpickle it in version 2, then it is not guaranteed to work. So be careful with these various versions of Python while you are pickling and unpickling your files. Now, what can we pickle? We can pickle objects, like all the objects can be pickled. We can pickle Boolean objects, integers, floats, complex numbers, tuples, lists, and so on and so forth. And now, certain things can be pickled easily, but something would require some extra effort on your part to pickle. Now, there is one more concept that is pickle can be compared with the JSON also. JSON, as you all know, stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it is a lightweight format for data interchange. And JSON is a more stable, approach as compared to pickle because it is language independent. So you can also use JSON for your data serialization. And an alternative to pickle would be C pickle, which is nearly identical to pickle but written in C language. So while you're working with C, you can use the C pickle module or the C pickle library to work with the pickling and unpickling, and which is 1000 times more faster than the Python pickle. Now let's see how we can actually pickle files. So obviously the first step would be to import the pickle module. Okay, and in this tutorial we are picking a simple dictionary which we would pickle. Let's consider there is a dictionary dogs underscore dict which contains these following key value pairs, and we want to pickle it, and later on somebody can unpickle it whenever that is required. So to pickle this dictionary, you must first specify a name of the file to which you want to pickle this. So which we have taken in our case as the dogs file, and we are not taking any extension for this file. So first we'll open this file, and we'll open it in WB mode. Now we saw in the previous lectures while we were dealing with text file handling, we were mentioning W as a write mode, R as a read mode, but since now here we are dealing with the binary files, so the mode would be WB, or you can also mention W plus B, as is one and the same thing. Okay, so let's now concentrate on the code. We have got a file name dogs, then we open the pointer out file, and we open the file in WB mode. That means I want to create a binary file, and this concept is known as, while you're writing to a binary file, it is pickling. Now once the file is opened, you can use a method, dump method of pickle module, which takes two arguments: the object that you want to pickle and the file to which the object has to be saved. In this case, the former would be dogs underscore dict, the object name, and the file name would be out file. And obviously you must close the file before you end your program so that the file can be used easily. And similar is the case with unpickling. I'll first show you the program of pickle. So let's go to our Python, and let's open up the file. Say pickle1. Now I've written here example how to dump your data, binary data, into a file through pickle. First we must import the pickle module. Then there is a dictionary dogs underscore dict with the following values, and the file name in which I want to pickle this thing is in dogs, using a pointer out file and opening the file in WB mode. Okay, and then I can do pickle.dump. The first argument is the object that you want to serialize. The second one is the file to which you want to send it to. So let me just run this program. So you see the program has been run. Now let us look for this file dogs in our specified path. So go to python-37. Let's open this file. So it's an encoded file. So before you can actually, let's try to open it in Notepad. So you see it's an encoded file. You won't be having much information out of it. And the more better you encoding algorithm you use, the better would be your file which has been serialized. Now coming back to the second part of the program, the process of unpickling. Okay, so unpickling is like one file that we have created dogs. You want to unpickle it and to get the binary data out of it. So once again we must now open the file in the read binary mode, RB mode, and we use a method known as load. Okay, so this is the concept. Simply open the file in RB and take some dictionary object and use pickle.load and pass the file pointer to it. So and then we can see whether we are getting the data back or not. So let me now open up another file for you. Okay, let's see which file is this here. So I've taken the original docs dict which contains these values. I'm going to read from this file, that is the dogs file which we created in the previous example in the read mode, and then with the load method I'm going to load these from the file and store it in the new dict dictionary. Okay, then I'll print the value of new dict and I'll see whether both the dictionaries are same or not, and obviously I also print the type of this new dict that I've taken, and it should return a dictionary type. So you can see I get the values back here from whatever I got loaded in the new dict, and I also get this output as true here, and the type of new dict is a dictionary. So this is how you can unpickle your data And so pickling and unpickling is a very important concept, and you can do a lot of serialization and deserialization of your data with this. So let me now take another PDF with you, just to emphasize and revisit all the things that we have learned in today's session. So Python pickle is used to serialize and deserialize a Python object structure. Any object on Python can be pickled so that it can be saved on disk. Okay, and obviously one more thing that you should be careful is that pickle module is not secure against erroneous or maliciously constructed data according to the documentation. So never unpickle data received from an untrusted or unauthenticated source. And then in these examples, you can go through this PDF once I send it to you. And we have taken another example of pickling and unpickling, which I'll show you with the help of the program so that the concept is more clear to you. So let us now go and see the programs on pickling and unpickling so that you have a clear idea what we are learning. Let's do this pickle2. So in this pickle2, I am first inputting how much data I want to enter. Then I'm taking a list with the name as data, and then I'm going through a loop and entering the values for the list and then appending it to the list data. Okay, then I'm opening up a file with the name as important in the write mode, binary WB, and I can put W plus B also. Then I'm dumping it, this data list, into the file that is, the name is important here. Okay, so let's just run this, and obviously it is going to ask us for values. So let me just put the value as 3. So then I can write anything that I wish here. Okay, so now this data, whatever I've entered, is pickled into the file important. So let us just open that file important to see whether the data has been pickled or not. I'm going to open this file important, say the notepad. Okay, and obviously it is an encoded file, you can see that. So we are not able to make much out of this file if we try to open it directly, but if we unpickle it, we can exactly find whatever we stored in this file. So let me use the unpickling approach for you. Now I'm using the same thing. I'm using opening the file important in R plus B mode, that is the binary read mode, and I'm simply using the list data to use this pickle.load file, and then I'm closing this file, and then I'm parsing through this list data using this variable item, and I'm printing the contents. So you can see that whatever you entered there, you can now see it clearly here. So this is how the concept of unpickling goes, and this is a very important concept actually in Python, that is to pickle and unpickle, or that means to serialize or deserialize your objects. And but then it must be used with utmost care, because if it is coming from some untrusted or insecure source, then it can harm your programs also, it can harm your computer also. So be very careful with the source with which you are referring to it. So in the end, let me just discuss some important notes on Python pickle with you guys. The pickle protocol is specific to Python. Okay, it's not guaranteed to be cross language compatible. Okay, then there is no guarantee of compatibility between different versions of Python, because not every Python data structure can be serialized by the module. And the latest version of pickle protocol is used by default unless you manually change it. And pickle module is not secure against erroneous or maliciously constructed data according to the documentation. So be careful while you are using pickle. In my next lecture, I'll discuss a few more concepts about file handling. And till then, thank you and goodbye.